Okay, welcome everyone to the Nutritional Therapist Coaching Intensive. I am super excited and happy that all of you have committed to signing up and getting a really great taste of the power of coaching and what it can add to your practice. A lot of what I'm going to be explaining, most of what I'm going to be explaining, I will be offering a lot of context in applying these coaching skills and concepts to being an NTP or an NTC. So I want to make sure that we get lots of integration and real world examples. And I will also, I'm happy to let you know that we're not going to be talking about session structure. We're not going to be talking about any of the clinical stuff. We're not going to be talking about getting people to do things. We're really purely going to be creating a space of just coaching somebody into really what they want to be experiencing, and how powerful and how simple that is and what that can bring to your practice. So we're going to be moving off, even though I will be offering context as an NTP or an NTC, we're going to be moving off the island of having those clinical skills that we all have, where we are able to assess someone functionally, where we're able to write protocols for people, where we're able to come up with, lifestyle suggestions and recommendations, and, really be able to provide somebody a comprehensive solution to whatever the health complaints that they're coming to us, with. And so I think we can all agree that we've had really amazing training in that way, right? And I've talked to some of you, many of you, and what I'm hearing and was seeing in the Facebook group was that there's a gap. And the gap is, I've got all of this amazing stuff, these protocols, this information, and it's like, here I am. And then, here's the client with their health complaints. And oftentimes what happens is there's the integration process, or the process of helping your clients be able to take on the information that you have and the protocol that you have. It's like there's something in between there, right? So there's a map when we are helping our clients. It's where they are starting, right? When they start with us in that first session, or even the intro session or the discovery session, and then it's where they want to go. And in between there's territory. It's never a straight line. And oftentimes when we're in school and we're in nutrition programs and clinical programs, it can appear or feel like it's a linear thing. Change is not linear. It is not linear. It's very much a stop and start process. It's very much a self-discovery process. And it requires really being clear on where you are today, what you're experiencing. In terms of being a nutritional therapist, that means understanding someone's health complaints, understanding how their body's functioning through the NAC, and then really also understanding, what are their meaningful goals, what's important to them, what do they really want to create beyond their symptoms. Because certainly there's plenty of nagging symptoms that are motivating to be able to get rid of, but oftentimes that's not enough. It can be what helps your client pick up the phone to call you. But over time, that can dwindle. And that's when we get client drop off. That's when we get clients not following through. That's when we get those circumstances that kind of make us, that frustrate us, really. So let's go ahead and get started here. And welcome, I just want to say also welcome to everyone who is, of course, live, and then also everybody who is listening on the replay. You are a part of this group just as much as everyone who's on live. And the best way, the most you can get out of this workshop is going to be to practice. And the purpose of the Facebook group is that you can link up, you can practice live on this call, and in addition, you can also practice additionally with other people that are in the group, other people who want to be in the experience of coaching somebody else, and really work through the newness of that, right? So anytime we learn something new, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. All right. So the intention for today is to define what coaching is and what it's not. And I want to be clear on this because a lot of us have a preconceived notion on what coaching is. And sometimes what I hear is using coaching as a way to get someone to follow through or get someone to do something. And that's not what we're doing. And I'm so excited for you guys, by the way, because this is such a much more impactful and powerful and lighter way to practice. So I'm really excited just to share this with you. I'll also be sharing how it can greatly serve and impact the practitioner-client experience, like I just said, and in the context of being a nutritional therapist. And we'll be taking our work, out of our head and off the page to provide the experience of receiving coaching and coaching others. So about me, I am an NTC, and I believe around the end of 2013, I graduated. I'm also a FDN practitioner, which is basically, if you don't know, a training to be able to run lab work and add that to your practice. And I'm a certified master transformation coach for entrepreneurs. Most of my clients are entrepreneurs. And what that means, what transformation coaching is a way of really simple ways of digging into your own personal belief system and how that's affecting what you're creating in your life. So you can imagine that mindset is a big part of growing our business, right? What we think is possible for us and how we limit ourselves and the stories that we tell. I also do theta energy healing, which is another form of belief work. And I'm a mama of 2 girls, 6 and 11. And I am the creator of the Bounce and Shine method and program. So enough about me. So what we do as nutrition professionals, as NTPs, NTCs, functional nutritionists, I know I have a couple people signed up that are not NTPs and NTCs, but have comparable education. What we are trained to do is to serve as the expert and the educator. Our sessions really rely on dispensing information and educating. We focus on reducing health complaints and fixing what is the client perceives to be wrong, or what system of the body is in breakdown, or what's not working. We come from a space of, really, I don't know about you, but in my first several years of practice, I felt a lot of pressure to have all the answers. And, to everyone's question, and our clients come to us, and some of them are really educated as well, because we have this thing called the internet and all this information, and they're looking up things and I'm looking up things. And there's a lot of pressure to really know and understand everything that's going on, right? It almost feels impossible sometimes. And that can feel like a really big fuel for imposter syndrome. I know I did a post on that in the Facebook group. Sometimes we want to download everything that we know into the client. And that is also an added pressure of wanting them to, or being in the experience of wanting our clients to really get it, right? We really want them to get it. And oftentimes we assume a large portion of responsibility for the client's results and their health and their growth and their experience. Also, we sometimes assume knowing is doing. So that's that gap, that starting point, and that, end point, or that outcome that they really want. And clients can know into session 6 with you, so many different things, but they could still literally still be in their present state, right? They still could literally have barely taken the first step. So, and that's a frustrating space to practice from. It really is. And sometimes we accidentally disempower clients with an authoritative approach or an expert approach, where we're telling them what to eat, what to do, how to live, right, with lifestyle. And it can feel a little disempowering for them because they're not part of it. And one thing a coaching relationship does is it helps you, and there's definitely an art to it. It helps you partner with the client as well as, be able to put your expert on hat at the appropriate time. Okay. So what is coaching? So coaching is a method of helping people make positive changes they truly want. It evokes and, requires inquiry or questioning. It's focused on the development of the client first without any agenda for us. It creates a high level of awareness to adopt the ongoing and daily choice to choose behaviors, attitudes, passions that really serve the outcome that they desire or that we desire. So every single day, our clients, ourselves, we're confronted and faced with different choices. How are we going to take care of ourselves? What are we going to eat? How much water are we going to drink? So you've probably heard this before, but health is so much more a practice over a destination. And yes, it's both, because we are in the business of helping people be able to heal their digestion. We're in the business of helping people balance their hormones. We're in, the business of helping people be able to, detox in a healthy and in a way that's healthy and effective. So there is a destination. It's both. It's both. And it explores resistance and allows more choice and possibility as challenges arise. When we don't have a framework for working through challenges, then, what happens? The client bumps up against something, and then what? If there's not any choice or framework for helping them work through those challenges, then, where do you go? What do you do? So, and then it's also an important part of being a nutritional therapist, or in any really, clinical setting job or holistic setting job, where you're wanting to offer information that requires change to implement. And it's an opportunity to broaden the impact and facilitate implementation of the protocols that we design for our clients. And I want to just talk a little bit about broadening the impact and what that means, because that's a big focus of what we're going to get to do here today. Is when I say broadening the impact, I mean really opening up a window. Imagine a window that you have the opportunity to open for your clients, to help see, really create meaningful goals and help them really decipher and discern what it is that they'd really like to be experiencing beyond the health complaints. Does that land with everybody? Does that make sense? So this is an opportunity to literally, I always say health complaints are a window. Something's not working with your body, anything as far as, anything from Hashimoto's to autoimmune to, anything, it's a window. Like there's such a big opportunity there. And if you learn how to ask the right questions at the right time in a really simple way, you can really broaden that impact for your clients. And that's just as powerful, if not more, for some people than even eradicating their symptoms. Okay, so what coaching is not. So here's where it can get a little bit tricky because we like to give everyone the information. It's really hard to let go, and we're going to get into that. So anything that serves an expert or serves an expert, that would mean it would serve you or your agenda or your desire for the client to heal or get better over the own client's learning or development or pacing or healing journey. People take what they take to heal. They just do. They just do. And sometimes things happen really fast, and sometimes things happen really slowly. Any kind of decision or projection that's based on our own needs of the practitioner over the needs of the client. And coaching is also not telling clients what to do or advice giving. There is a time for that in sessions, however. There is a time for that. There's a time where you put on that hat, because we can all agree, of course, our clients are paying us for the information. They want the information and they want the support on the implementation most of the time. And honestly, it's really what's in their best interest. And it's not therapy. It's not therapy. So we don't go into, we don't get into the past. I mean, therapy is really much about digging up the past and, where certain beliefs came from. And I just want to be clear that it's definitely not that. It's forward moving, forward thinking, and strategizing. And do sometimes things come up as far as, because we do talk about emotions and creating a safe space for that? Sure, of course. But there is not the intention of, fixing any of those things. So I'm going to be clear on that. So how coaching skills can help us as nutritional therapists. How do we blend all of this, these methods? I personally pull from everything from, my own learnings through NLP, through positive psychology, through motivational interviewing, and there's so many different coaching methods out there. And how do we blend those coaching skills in a way that is really serves us, makes it work for us? So here was my experience when I went through NTA. I got the motivational interviewing book. Did you guys get that book? Yeah, it's a great book, except for I love the facts and all the clinical knowledge and all the minutia of all the things. And I find the motivational interviewing book helpful, but it would be like, well, just, don't tell the client what to do and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it was so far away from what I wanted to do. And then that I wasn't able to really apply that much of it, because it was not in the way that they were really teaching it, because there was a big gap between how I was, taught to facilitate the NAC and, be able to solve somebody's problem who's really struggling and wants their energy back. And, what do you mean? Like, just, don't ask them or don't overwhelm them, or, their take on resistance and not, it was just, I almost felt overwhelmed by it, and I just kind of shut it out. And I've learned over time that there's how important and crucial those skills really are, and how that book is a little bit out of context for what we do. So part of what I want to make clear today is that you can use coaching skills and you can be an NTP and NTC, and you can have both. Okay. So how coaching skills can help us: it encourages clients to actively engage in the process. It helps us be the guide at the appropriate time. Coaching can shift the responsibility and rely on the client taking responsibility for follow through in a way that's empowering, in a way that's light. So there's not this heaviness or this, I hope I did okay, or I hope they get it conversation happening in every single session. And I can tell you, I talk to a lot of practitioners, and that is one of the more common things that happens is practitioners are experiencing a lot of tension and stress in their client sessions, even if they're busy and booked, even if their clients are getting it, that the practitioners sometimes are getting burned out. Oftentimes they're getting burned out because there's this attachment either to the result or just tension in general. And part of when you learn to master some of these coaching skills, it really helps you relieve that tension. Because you're noticing when it comes up, you're noticing, oh my God, did my client seriously not follow through again? Those kinds of things that happen within us, or our clients question us, or they don't want to follow through, or, whatever it is. So really being mindful about your own emotional space in a session with a client. And it inspires personal growth with us just as much as our clients, which is a super cool thing. And mindset shifts, self-directed learning, and those are really all required in the health and healing journey. Okay. So, anyone thought this before with a client? Just do what I told you to do. You would just do what I told you to do, you'd be better. Like, what's the problem? Right? It's like incredibly frustrating to be in front of a client and have them, it's almost like I call it the elephant in the room, scenario where you're like having this whole experience and your client's having this whole experience, and it's like not the same experience at all. So there's a communication breakdown, or you think you're communicating something that clearly is not landing because nothing's happening. So this is much about getting past that question of just do what I want you to do. Okay, so here are some of the challenges with adding coaching skills. Okay, and part of my intention today is to give you a whole new experience and not say, hey, just say this when your clients don't follow through, because that's almost just like reading the motivational interviewing book, or it's all, or reading another book, right? And then you go into your session, you're like, okay, I hope I say the right thing. I really want to provide an experience for you where you get off the out of the energy of needing or wanting someone to get it, of being able to create a really healthy and powerful and forward-moving container that you work in with your clients, where they feel successful in every single session with you, because that's, you're learning about how to help them in that self-direction, how to facilitate meaningful goals for them, and take them through the process that I'm going to be sharing with you. And Miss Lori here is so gracious to be allowing me to coach her live through this. You guys can have that experience. But here's some of the challenges and things that they might come up for you. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to mention them. So it's hard to let go. It's hard to let go because we really care about our clients in our work, in our information, and we're passionate about what we do, and we want them to heal. I mean, who can raise their hand if they relate to that? Hard to let go. Okay? We know this. We also know this stuff works. Okay? If they would just simply do it. And it's hard to let go because we know that, it's hard to let go because when clients follow through and they get a good result, we get feedback. We get feedback that we're good, smart, capable, made the right choices. And it's really hard to unhook from that. But the truth is that that is not in service to the client. What's in service to the client is having some basic coaching skills to be able to allow them to be in a container where they can be successful. So that, is a process. And to know, and this is the personal growth of a practitioner, is to know that, yes, I believe in strong accountability, but I also believe in accountability being light and not being heavy and hard, because I know as soon as that happens, it's pretty much a recipe for clients falling off, and it just doesn't work. And also just to the practitioners to know that they are already capable, know enough, smart enough, like just to know that going into the session and to unhook from needing the feedback or the praise or the testimonial or anything like that. Of course, that stuff feels good. And it's always great when we get those clients who follow through and, you know, we feel like a magician. But that's one of the challenges, is to let go of that. I promise you there's something better out there, though. That's what we're going to be going over. So many coaching models, like I mentioned before, require you to let go, and it's uncomfortable and it's foreign and we don't do it, and we focus on the protocol and advice giving, but it really doesn't leave a lot of space for healing and growth. It really doesn't. So let's go ahead. And switching hats is basically, because we wear different hats, and at the very basic, at the most basic level, what I'm talking about is, are you the practitioner or the expert? Are you wearing that hat? Or are you going to put on your coaching hat? Are you going to step away from, you know, seeing everything that the client's doing wrong, every single behavior, every single mistake, or every single Snapple or Coke or soda, or all the things that they're doing, and just be able to take them through a process so they can, you know, be enrolled in themselves and what they're doing. So blending your knowledge with a holistic, whole person approach. So having a session structure framework allows you to know when to be the coach and when to be the educator, practitioner, or consultant. On my website, and I will post it for you in the Facebook group, I have a session structure handout that you can take into your practice and use. I don't know if any of you have that yet, but it gives you a framework for how to run every single session. It's totally free. Everybody needs that. Everybody needs that. And it shows you, there's a section for, you know, when you bring your clinical expertise, when you do your results and review session, when you have paperwork back, when you have that NAC back, and the rest of the session is coachy things, for lack of a better way to say it. So, and I have to say this as well, asking permission to explore and setting context with clients is key. I'm saying this because if you see clients, if you have an existing clientele and you want to try some of this, maybe this coaching sequence on with them, you need to ask permission, because your client is not going to have any context for what you're going to do with them. So if your client is used to you making, you know, clinical suggestions and checking in and accountability and checking their food journal, and that's the context that they've seen you in, it's going to shift when you take coaching skills a bit into your practice. There's something called pistachios. It's a pistachio perspective and lens. And I want to offer that to you right now, because everybody has a different level of emotional capacity to be able to, and mental capacity to want and be able to share. We're all in different places. Some people are like their pistachios have no shell. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They talk. And some people are really tight. Okay. So I want to really land for you that there's no wrong way to do these exercises and these coaching exercises that I'm going to be sharing with you, or this main one. There's no wrong way. There's no wrong answer. You can't get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. So just remember that as you're reading through it and going through it, that everyone is at different spaces. The questions are designed to help you formulate and to help you think things through. And yeah, so be gentle on yourself. Okay, excellent coaches. Excellent coaches are fully present and in the moment. Okay. So that means they're not, this is where the agenda comes in, where sometimes we want to pull our agenda up and what we want, where we want the client to be. So being fully and present in the moment for what's going on with the client, focused on the client, so focused out on them, not thinking about what we're going to do next per se. Facilitate, which makes, the only thing that facilitate means is to make easy their results, their healing journey, and their growth. Excellent coaches are mindful of their own state and their emotions during a session. They notice if they feel internal tension, any kind of judgment, any kind of frustration, because that will take away from the client. Okay? They communicate cleanly and directly with kindness. So working through people pleasing is something that's really important when you learn how to coach your clients, because we don't want to make anyone mad or frustrate anyone or, you know, anything like that. And you can kindly and gently and directly call your clients out and hold them high. You know, if they said they were going to do something and they didn't do it, instead of sweeping it under the rug and going on to the next thing. So communicating cleanly. They don't avoid, they don't mix the sessions about them. They don't push their own agenda or point of view. That can also be tricky. They do communicate their truth, however. So in the case of when you have somebody come in and they're really convinced that they know what to do for themselves, and maybe you don't agree with it, and your expert does not agree with it. You're like, no, please don't do that. Like, you're just sure that that's not what they need to do next. You know, you communicate your truth, and it's up to them, right? And that's where we get the break with really strong coaches, where, you know, do I really want to work with this person? If they're gonna, yes, I'm gonna coach them, but are they gonna get the result they are asking for and wanting? If you know that they can't get the result, then no, then they're not a match for you. We meet people where they are, and we invite them into possibility and growth as well. And excellent coaches also do not attach their worthiness or value to client results. I told the story yesterday about how I had this really evasive client. She paid me a lot of money, bought everything I have, took every single test. And getting this woman, I mean, just to connect to herself, it was challenging. It was challenging. She had an H. pylori infection, among other things, and she was, I had suggested Matula tea, which is a tea that I think is one of the most easy and effective ways to manage H. pylori. She goes, I don't like tea. I don't like tea. I don't want to take the tea. And, you know, by now she was kind of, she had done one protocol and it was okay. And she was kind of feeling better, but I knew she had H. pylori. So it's like, you know, you got to get through this part too, or, you know, the function's going to go backwards. We're not really going to be able to restore full function. And eventually she just dwindled off as a client. She was traveling. A year later, I saw her, I was getting a tea or a coffee at Pete's Coffee. And she was in there. She goes, hi, how are you? I have to thank you. I feel so much better. I finally drank the tea. And it's just changed everything for me. I mean, this is like a year later, you guys. So it's like, people are just, you know, was it worth worrying about at the time? No, it wasn't worth worrying about. Okay. So, and what it can help with you specifically is to set meaningful goals and outcomes beyond the symptoms, explicitly making the clients part of the coaching process and the entire process, so they know that the nature of healing is not linear. And then they're, you know, you're there to help them, you know, beyond their obstacles. I always talk about obstacles, always talking about things not working all the time, because I want to put the client at ease to know that they do not have to be perfect. This is not about that. Okay. Helping clients feel empowered by giving them the information when they need it, and then coaching them to implement and integrate. Having a strong and safe container for sessions where your client can grow and discover in every session, and so you could enjoy your work. So the thing is, sometimes, again, we get attached to the result, which is important, but part of having a healthy relationship with your work as a nutritional therapist and being in service to the client is giving them an amazing experience in every session with you. If they walk away from you feeling overwhelmed, if they walk away from you feeling wrong, if they walk away from you feeling like they, or they're overloaded with information, do you think that they're really going to look forward to coming back? So being able to provide, does it mean they're going to come back? Yeah, of course, they want to get better. But the secret sauce is being able to provide a powerful experience. It's why, Starbucks is so successful, because people, for whatever reason, thank you, Starbucks, because you do have healthy snacks now, and I am grateful for that. If you're on a road trip like I just was, you can get kale chips from Starbucks. Everything else can go, but people like the experience of going to Starbucks. That's why they're so successful. So, and you can provide more powerful results and satisfaction for both you and your client. It's a win-win for you and the client. Okay, mutual benefit. So we're talking today, picking one thing, the beginning, being able to help a client come up with a meaningful goal. What's really going on for them. This is something you can use in a discovery session, a strategy session. And it's also something you can use in a first session once you feel ready. So where do you want to go? So we're talking about that first beginning step. Goals come from the client, not from you, and require a deep sense of meaning and big picture thinking. Okay, so inviting the client to take a step back. They work best when self-paced with accountability, and different types of accountability work for different people. They anchor the process of healing. Okay, so you know where you're going, not just about what you don't want, it's about where you're going. They're dynamic and sometimes change as clients learn more about themselves. Okay, they need to be broken down into bite-sized chunks. They can lose luster and motivation in the process, or as clients get closer to achieving them. And we need to let go of wanting our clients to move at our pace. So important. So it's very important. I really want to land this as well. It's difficult to coach others if you have not been through the experience of being coached the same way yourself. So I can't encourage you enough, everybody who's live, everybody who's listening on the recording, who has signed up for this, team up with each other and practice this. Not only so that you can learn and get comfortable, with asking people these questions that are out of scope for a nutritional therapist, but also not out of scope, but out of that wheelhouse per se, and also allow yourself to receive the coaching and the clarity and the experience that comes from that, because that is just as important. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the script. You guys are more than welcome to do the same. And again, I want to just acknowledge Lori. Again, if you don't know her, she's an amazing human being. She's also a graduate of Balance and Shine, and always learning, always dedicated to personal growth and growing. And she has been gracious enough to come on here and allow me to coach her, and so that you guys can experience and see and have a demo of what this looks like. Okay, so thank you, Lori. I appreciate you so much. I think I am gonna actually bring it up as well. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Lori.
Hello. Thank you for that nice introduction, Nanci.
Yes. You're welcome. this coaching sequence is the beginning as part of lasting lifestyle change. So coaching to a worthwhile goal and an outcome that inspires and motivates. Inspiration really being that key term. So I'm going to do my best to stay on the script as much as possible. But sometimes I might summarize in my own words. So let's just Lori, what'd you have for breakfast today?
This morning, let's see, I made a smoothie.
Yum. And it's out there, so it's working, right? Because you're in Texas.
Well, yes, but today's a little unusual. I don't usually start my day with that, but I'm doing kind of a cleanse this week. So so that's why it was a little bit out of the ordinary. That's why I didn't remember it.
Oh, yeah. What did I have? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am really excited to take you through this sequence today, and my intention is to help you get some clarity and what that you really like to create in our time working together. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions to help you find that connection and clarity to what it is that you really like to create over the next 90 days. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So what has been the highlight for you, or what's going well for you right now? I'm curious.
It's been a really exciting week for me. I'm going to probably talk like the business side for that because that's what popped up. I launched a new community group on social media that has so many people in it. Like for me, I've never done that before, and they're all really hungry for wellness information. So that was super exciting. And I just kind of put it out there on Facebook. That's where I've started because that's where most of my audience is.
Yeah.
Just to I really received that. It was like, okay, there's people out there who want what I have to offer. And so I'm glad I took that leap of faith. First step.
Yeah. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Isn't it amazing how sometimes you just do something so simple and you get a big result like that? You didn't realize that whole thing was just right in front of you the whole time. You're like, oh, okay.
Yes, because I've been thinking about doing it for 2 months, and why, it was so simple. So, and now that was the scary part. It was all in my mind. And now I'm super excited because I already have lots of content. But it just was taking the action. So yeah, so that was exciting this week.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. So let's go ahead and kind of get into, a place or what comes up for you really when you think about being stuck or there's something that you'd like to change. What really comes up for you?
So I'm definitely in a growing mode ever since I did your course, The Balance and Shine. Was that a year ago, I think. So I've been really in this whole growth year. It's been amazing. I owe a lot to Nanci. And I realized the more I'm getting busy with my businesses, and we have a couple that my husband and I are doing, I've kind of let my own nutrition slide. So that's a place that I was feeling so great that it's easy to ride off that high and then not be consistent. So then I was starting to feel like a phony again. So that gets in the way.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. And I guess just not letting, it's all balance, but not letting the work overload overshadow. Because if you're doing anything on social media, you could be on there 24 hours a day, you do a lot of years on there, and just having those spaces to still take care of myself. That's coming up for me again.
Yeah. So you want to create time. You want to still grow your business, but you also want to be able to create the space that you need to be able to live to be able to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I'm so thankful for that problem, because I think a year ago when I came to your class, there was nothing really going on professionally, not much. So it's like a whole different space. I'm so thankful. But yeah, just I need to not drop everything that was already serving me. I tend to do like all in on one project and then let the other 9 areas go. That's just, I know that about myself. So that's kind of where I'm struggling. Like literally, I'm going to confess this to you. Like no NTP or NTC would do this, but last week I have a baseball player, high school son. We were out in the middle of nowhere and I literally ate at Taco Bell. I don't think I've been in one of those in 20 years. I know, I'm like, this is a new low, right? And I felt sick for about 3 days, so good for that. But I'm like, okay, this has really gotten out of hand because I didn't take the time. I knew I was going out there and I didn't take the time to pack what I usually would. So yeah, that like, I do not share that lightly.
Yeah. Yeah. So being able to, right. It's like the laughable moments. Yeah. But what I'm hearing you say is that you really want to get back to focusing on yourself.
Yes.
And your own self-care and
Specifically cooking.
specifically cooking. Yeah.
Yes.
So that you're not ending up at the Taco Bell drive-through.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for your vulnerability and willingness to share that because that's just life. Yeah. Thank you. So let's talk about this space and wow, this is so cool. My business is growing and I'm doing all these things. And now I'm having to develop these other skills where I'm able to, keep that going and have this and be able to care for myself at the level that I really, really want to. So I want you to be really specific about what you would like instead. So there's no wrong answer. What would you really like to be experiencing?
I would like to be experiencing the joy that I used to have for cooking when I had time to like sort of plan it out ahead of time. And I really do love that. And doing that, my life shifted. My kids are older and so they're rarely home. But just finding that's part of it too, finding that new joy in just cooking for myself and my husband and that like new normal. Cause I think part of this was sort of grieving the family dinner. Doesn't happen as much because they're pretty much adults. But yeah, that's what I really want is to have that joy again and that, but to do that, I already know, like I need to put time in my calendar to like, get inspired again and look through the cookbooks I own and read the bloggers I love and go shopping. And maybe, well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Keep going.
And maybe hiring a personal assistant, which I've never spoken out loud. I'm not where I need to be financially to do that, but that would be amazing. So I could let go of some of the stuff I don't really like with my business or like someone to clean my house, things that really, I don't really need to be the one doing. And I've always felt that was a little selfish to like want, but I'm starting to really want someone that I can outsource those things to so I can do more of what I love.
So what you'd like is to really be able to create, I heard you say a new normal with your husband around cooking, around food, about what it means to take care of the version of Lori with adult children who's growing her business at the same time, and that you also would like to possibly have a personal assistant and more help around the house and more help with things that you personally don't need to be doing that could free you up to be able to put more focus on that cooking and that self-care and that food and that love of that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. First time I'm stating this. So that's not what I had written down. But that's,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what else would you like?
I So as much as my platform is basically nutrition with people, I'm wanting to develop content where I mean, we know it's not really ever about the food. Like that's just the thing that people come to us for, but where I can incorporate some of the mindset stuff that I've been doing the last year. Like I have a team of 300 people under me now in this little side business I'm doing, and um, they're all coming to me for nutrition questions, kind of like as a friend, but like I'm feeling called to develop some kind of content because there's all these people now that I didn't know a year ago, and they're hungry for something, but it's definitely more than the food. So kind of utilizing a lot of what you trained in Balance and Shine,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess just getting that leap of faith up to do something about it.
Yeah. So am I hearing you correctly when you say maybe starting a group for them?
Yes, but
You have,
I would like to do something again in aligning with my goals that I'm paid for.
oh,
So,
yeah.
because I have a lot of free community content,
Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
order to, I can do that till the cows come home, which is what I did with my nutrition business the first couple of years. I kind of gave that all away for free. And I'm
Yes.
sort of in that same place here again, where
Yeah.
if I want to hire some of these people in my life, I need to, you know, attract more money into my life and create that income. So yeah, I'd love to be able to charge for that as some type of content.
Yeah. So you'd like to, I've heard this a couple times in terms of, well, I'm not here yet. Well, I'm not here yet, or I don't have money here yet. So is it okay if that you're saying money? You said money, like I would like more money.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be, and I still struggle with that. I'm working on that, but yes, that would be a real blessing in my life. At the stage we're at with two kids going to college, and yeah, to give me that freedom.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then I also heard you say what you would also like is to run some kind of mindset, nutrition, balance and shine-ish group.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, if y'all haven't taken that class, she didn't ask me to say this, but that really married all of my interests. I mean, because my background before this was mental health counseling. So there's that, and then the nutrition, and then, the coaching. So, yes, because
Oh,
that's what I'm passionate about.
yeah. Yeah. So when you are having all that, when you're experiencing that, your own personal self-care and the joy of cooking coming back into your life and feeling like you are really allowing your self-care to fuel your business and making more money and leading people outside of even your side business, and running your own group that's called whatever you're going to call it, and blending that mindset and nutrition, and you're also having this personal assistant, that vision. So what will having all of that do for you?
That will allow me to have the balance in my life to really get at what my ultimate goal is to really empower women. I mean, all people, but I tend to have women followers. Sorry, Steve. Um, but I felt this has been 3 times in the last year. Some people call it the Holy Spirit, some people, the universe, whatever you want to call that. I feel like I'm supposed to be the voice for those who do not have it yet, who do not have the courage to have their voice shine yet. And I've really found my voice in the last year, but now, like, bring me a platform. So that's kind of the real deal. Like, that's my why. Otherwise, I could go get any corporate job I used to. Like, I could make money, but like, I really feel like this is my deep.
So when you're on your platform, when you are giving others a voice who don't have the courage to use their own, What will having that do for you?
I knew you were going to say that. Um, what will that do for me? This is where I struggle.
What's important about it?
It's giving back because I've received from so many to get to that place. So it's never really just about, like, I'm not ultimately just a money motivated person. I'm a helping people motivated person, but I just see that there's so many people who are stuck, and I've had so many people bless me along the way. If I could give a portion of that back, just to help shine that light. I don't know. Does that sound too cliche?
No.
I mean,
No. Yeah. Yeah. No, giving back is the ultimate. I mean, it's like I've coached a lot of people and a lot of successful people, and everybody at the top tier of what people want is, is to give back. It's a measure of really how full you are, that you have something, feel like you really have a lot to give.
thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, that's awesome. So, how will you know, Lori, when you have it?
The thing is, I already have it. I guess when I have it all now. It's already mine. It's just when I don't let the fear hold me back from doing that next step. But I don't think we're ever fully arrived. I mean, that's how will I know?
So, if you already have it, what does it feel like to have it now?
I mean, like, I got off the phone right before I got in here, and just hearing like another friend who's doing a protocol we had talked about, like, that just totally, when I get to hear that from a client, like, even if it's someone a year later, like you showed the example, that just feels so good. But I guess it just feels good if I'm putting the truth out there. I don't know. It's just, then I'm not afraid. Like, it's not really tied to results. If I never made like any more money from this, I still feel like I'm supposed to do it. It would just be nice to have more space in my life to like outsource. That's why I want the money, so I can do more of what I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. It's hard for me, even when we were in Balance and Shine, to kind of like articulate. It's all going on in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure like what it really looks like.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Do you feel on track?
Most of the time, um, it's not unmeasurable. Like, if I said my goal is to make $1 million, like, you can see that needle moving.
Do you feel like you're on your way?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. It's like hard to measure, so it's
Yes.
not immeasurable.
Yes. And we talk a lot about measurable in Balance and Shine as well, because there's different types of goals. Some goals provide fulfillment. Some goals you can measure with money. Some goals you can, are statistics or learning. Sometimes we have learning goals, right? Like sometimes we are learning a specific thing about thyroid, or, there's learning goals. And sometimes they're a combination of all three. So what I'm hearing from you is that it's really a fulfillment goal. Yeah. So knowing what that looks like, what that feels like, and yeah, for sure. So it may not seem like there could be, but is there any way that pursuing this or having this outcome could be a problem for you? So does it require you to be more stressed, away from your family, take up a lot more time?
That was already happening in the last 6 months. So I got asked to do a couple speaking engagements on the weekend and travel. And so it's causing some shifts and transition in my marriage that weren't there before, but it's all healthy. I mean, my husband's really open to that, but I think what sometimes gets in the way is, like this week, one of my teenagers' lives, trying to derail their life and then letting that not affect my goals. Sometimes it's hard to separate because I work from home and have them under my roof. So that's probably the main thing. Just still, like, my family's not really used to me having a business life. I've been there for them like 24/7. So we're still in flux there.
Yeah.
So I think in a perfect world, that would look like, them respecting my space a little more and me creating that environment more for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of getting that self-care back.
Yeah. The boundaries.
Yeah, definitely. Influx.
Yeah.
I have an adult child who's living back at home, like, who's out of school. It's just kind of weird. Yeah. So, and that's always going to shift, right? Because whether it's that or aging parents or a friend in need, and just making sure I take care of me first. And that I used to think that was so selfish. And I'm like, no, that's essential.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and just that awareness and obviously Lori's done the work around this already, that so she can already see the tug of what she's wanting and the outcome that she's wanting, potentially feeling like it's negatively affecting the people around her, and having that be something that really holds her back and keeps her in inner conflict. So when we're in inner conflict, it's very hard to move forward. And so what's stopping you or slowing you down from already having this already? And I think you've already said part of that already. Is there anything else?
I am still shedding this, but like in that season when I was a stay-at-home mom, like I overcommitted. So I'm a little bit still there, but it was knowingly, just because I'm trying to give that space to my last child who's still in high school. But I'm kind of ready to be done with this season and just be like, this sounds awful. I'll miss my kids, but I'm ready to have an adult relationship with them and not do like the PTA stuff and all that. I've done that for so long. So that potentially can, like, people try to grab that, and take people will take all the time they want because they're used to me giving in that way. And so I'm having more and more to put up boundaries. So when I don't pause and don't tell them I'll think on it, then I've gotten myself in trouble this year a couple of times where it's like, darn.
Yep. Why did I say yes to that?
I know. So yeah, I'm trying to not take anything new that doesn't bring me joy.
Okay. Yeah. So you're trying to say no more, trying to set boundaries more, trying to pause before you automatically respond and say yes, or react and say yes, because that's just who you are. And is there anything else that could get in the way?
I mean, obviously fear could.
Sure.
But I mean, I think when I fail to plan my week, then it goes awry. So that's a tool that when I do it, then my week works better. When I start my day with my morning routine, we've talked about that before, but that can risk derailing me if I allow it. Yeah.
Right. Not getting that time to be centered. There. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so let's talk about resources. So what are the resources that you need and you already have? And then what's in the gap? So, as far as, and we're talking about, this outsourcing and this self-care and this cooking and this, money.
Mm-hmm.
And this, everything that you'd like to create, right? So let's actually skip ahead to what are the resources that you don't feel like you need to accomplish it? Is there anything that you don't have that you need?
I don't have a person in mind to hire as an assistant at this point, but I haven't really looked. Because I really want to be able to trust someone.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm not really sure how to start that process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have a dedicated office for myself at the moment that's just mine. So that sometimes gets in the way.
Okay. So an office, a process, a person, a way of interviewing, hiring someone so that you feel good, that kind of thing?
Yes. But
Okay.
other than that, I think that's about it.
Okay. And so those are the things that you feel like you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's brainstorm. What are some actions you could take that would move you closer to having all of that? Um, so
Probably a conversation with my husband, who's also an entrepreneur, about maybe one of us going to rent an office. Could be him. He makes more money at the moment. And just having some clearer boundaries there with my family, with my children as well. So that could just be a conversation.
Yep.
I may be able to claim a space that already exists, like this room I'm in now. If other people weren't in here, and I could put a little sign up. Or it could be just thinking out of the box, and certain days of the week I go work at a coffee shop. I mean, but a conversation needs to happen. And I could go ask on the NTP forum about assistance. I'm sure other people have
Great.
experienced that. So, there's some different groups I can pull.
Yes.
Just to see. Yeah, like that's a good starting point.
Okay.
I need to find out how much someone makes and then make that a goal to make that much money in the next month so that I can start hiring someone.
Yeah. Did you want to put any action to the self-care and time and boundaries and food prep?
Which I've already started. So I started a cleanse today that I'm going to do for the next week. And I'm leading a group through that. So that helps me to stay accountable. I find that if I need to create something in my life, I do it with other people, and I usually have to start it. So then people will join me, and then I won't quit as much. So that, and I'm doing pretty well on the exercise front. It was really just the food, but just committing that time to cooking. I have to travel like an hour in the car with my husband to go to another baseball game tonight. I might bring my cookbooks in there and browse for inspiration, because that always I love looking at the pretty pictures of food.
Okay.
Get me excited again.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, just simple things. None of this is like really.
Yeah.
Yeah. That hard.
Okay. Can I make some suggestions?
Please.
When you reach out for support, or as far as an assistant, think about how many hours a week you would need to start with. And also consider starting smaller to be able to build trust with just a couple hours a week.
Okay.
Also, you could consider trading.
So how would trading? What would that look like?
In some more shape or form. Well, it would look like trading some kind of a service for either cleaning, or if you had a college student come to your house, or, you know, you never know what you might be able to brainstorm and come up with and get flexible to be able to free yourself up.
Okay, those are good ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you're gonna feel, yeah, okay. So we know about the could do, want to, will do. So you could do all of these things. You may want to do all of these things. But let's say the next week or so, which ones will you absolutely, or what are you a 10 out of 10 committed to doing?
I love your idea, so I'm committed to think about that creative way. It never occurred to me to trade or look for a smaller time frame. I was like, oh, I have to hire 20 hours a week. I was like putting this black and white thinking. So I am going to explore that and do some inquiries in that arena. I actually have some ideas from what you said. And I'm also going to commit to making a meal plan for the rest of the week.
Okay.
I mean, that's something I used to do on autopilot and I haven't done like in months. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And then the only other suggestion I have is to be gentle on yourself.
Yeah, I've received that.
Okay. And then by when would you like to have all these done? Those things done?
The 2 items I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll do the meal plan probably tonight.
So let's say by a week from today, what will you have done?
Okay.
You feel committed to doing 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, I'll meal plan for 2 weeks, and then I am going to have, let's say, 2 interviews set up.
Oh, loving it. Okay, awesome.
So
great. You have 2 interviews with potential assistants and people helping you.
Yeah, go for big. Because if I don't do that, I won't have the time to do all these other things. And that is the key.
Okay. Yes. And so interviews, meal plans, the meal plan. Anything else?
Well, I'll commit to finishing my cleanse for this week.
Yes, so, good. Okay.
I didn't mention this, but I'm also doing like this daily, that Calm app and incorporating that twice a day. So I've already been doing that for a couple of weeks, but I'll continue because that's helping me.
Okay. So if I'm holding you accountable, what kind of coach do I need to be for you in this next week to ensure that those 2 interviews and these things get done?
Maybe a message from you, midway through. Hey, how's it going?
Your assistant's waiting. Yeah. And is there anything that you might have to let go of in order to take action on that?
Yeah, I was kind of looking for an out for this cocktail party boring thing we've been invited to Friday, and I may not be able to do that because these aren't really my friends. It's like this group that for my community I really don't want to go. So I am not going to go. Okay, so you're going to let go of things that are sounds like a kind of an energy suck. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like people, but I did not want to go to that event, and now I have an excuse. Okay. Anything else you want to let go of? I'm not repeating the Taco Bell. Oh my gosh. Not that was a thing. Yeah, that was my joke. Yeah. Yes, something else, because my business is a lot on social media, I'm going to do a little purge of my friends list because there's some negative stuff out there lately that's kind of dragging me down. Okay. So that was something that I think will free up some energy to go forward. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Anything else? Yes. I'm going to ask my husband if we're going to talk about our money. Maybe it probably won't be till what is today, Wednesday, like this weekend, so we can take a serious look at freeing up some other resources for some of the stuff we want to do. Because I think our spending's probably in areas that aren't serving us. We haven't looked at it in a while. So yeah, money talk with the hubby.
So that's an action step you want to do by next week?
Yes.
Okay. Can add that.
That's probably enough.
That's enough. I think it's plenty because you're already doing a lot, and cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nanci.
Appreciate you so much for being so open. And I just want to, if any of you are thinking, like, how does this fit back into helping your clients with what they're doing? So this is all about being able to retrieve information from another human being to see what's really going on with them, and then to be able to take what they truly, 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 really want and turn it into a measurable outcome. And like I had said before, some goals are fulfillment, some are learning, some are money goals, like, really measurable income goals. And so that would be the next step here, is to really, she has all of those steps, they feed back into what she really, really wants. And then in our next session, I'm saying, did you do what you're going to do? It's the only time I ask a closed-end question. Did you do it? Did you do it? Yes or no? There's not any wiggle room out of that. And we all have been in a situation in a practice or regular where the client is kind of like, oh, I kind of did it. Yeah, I kind of did it. I did some of those things. I did it for the first 3 days. I did it, in those conversations that sometimes can happen. So the next step to this is being able to turn her desires and that outcome into something that was really measurable, so that every time we checked in with each other, we would be able to know and understand if she was heading in the right direction, and if she felt like she was on track and heading in the right direction, and to simply go from there. And these questions are designed to help you, for example, they're designed to really uncover, especially for the part that is, it may not seem like there could be, but is there any way that having this would be a problem for you? Now, like I had said before, I'll just point out Lori's already been through this work. She's already knows this. She already thinks like that already. So for how this could work for somebody else, or how it sometimes works is, there is the acknowledgement that this could be really stressful. This could be hard on my family. I might not have enough. I might not make enough money. This is one of the biggest questions I ask my entrepreneur clients, because you got to put everything that could go wrong on the table, because we can't pretend like it's not there. There is a reality of change. There is a reality of change. So, and it's important to put that out on the table in the beginning, to make sure that the client is truly in alignment and enrolled in what they said that they really wanted, that the goal is meaningful. That's one of the biggest reasons that two biggest reasons is that clients are not really clear on what they want, or what they say they want, or that goal or that outcome that they want from working with you is, so they're clear, they have an emotional connection to the goal that they want to be experiencing with you, right? So it's not just symptoms, it's, oh, well, I want to be able to enjoy time with my family. I want to be able to have my energy back. I want to be able to run around with my kids. I want to be able to spend time with my husband. I mean, all of the things that, health complaints or just health not going well can kind of just hold us back from. And then the other part is to, so it's all about anticipating, like what could not work. So the clarity, and then also, is this something that you really, truly, truly want? I will say this, if you're not seeing how this could help your clients, so Lori potentially could have been a client for me who had already been through my nutritional therapy program, and we already have rapport, and I'm able to coach her into what her next phase and level of growth is. And I'm able to look at her neck. Okay, so that would be a real world situation that I use these skills in. Okay, and they go together. Feel free to unmute yourself. Does anybody have any questions? Or does everybody feel pretty clear? Self-explanatory? Oh, Barbara, what was the name of H. pylori T? Oh, Matula, Matula. Okay, we love our information. Awesome. So what's going to happen now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 9 including me. Is that Lori? Are you down for a little practicing?
Yes. Sorry, someone was messaging me from the webinar. Anyway.
Yeah. So first, I want to answer. So no questions. Everyone feels clear.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go take pain pills. You know why?
Yes. I'm so glad that you made it on.
We had neck surgery a month ago. I'm sitting here with my ice pack on my hand.
Oh my gosh. And you're actually smiling.
Well, yeah, it's better than the alternative. Ugly crying is not attractive. But I'm going to bow out for this part of it just because I'm really out of it. And but thank you, Nanci. This was awesome. And we will.
Good. Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye,
everyone. So I'm going to put you guys in a breakout room. So that means we have 7. So it's one of you, I think, will be left here with me. Everyone else, just to make sure, is available to practice right now. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms. I believe that, Barbara has to go too. Okay. Realize that coaching is really much a mindfulness practice for the coach.
Yeah.
And to be able to walk away and feel centered.
Mm-hmm.
And feel in rapport. And one of the things that we go through in Balance and Shine is creating rapport with clients and creating a relationship with clients.
Right.
Meeting them where they are, of course, if they're really close pistachio or, got no bell. but being in that actually being in a relationship with them helps so much with that, because they will give you feedback. They will, once you have that open line of communication, they will say, yes, that's too much. No, I don't want to do that. And it's not from a space of opposition.
Right.
I was just on the Facebook group reading messages, and I think this was Sarah. So Sarah, if you're reading this, and I apologize if this wasn't you, but I'm pretty sure it was you, meeting opposition from clients. So you're suggesting something, you want them to do it, and either they're just saying no, or I can't, or whatever conversation that is. And when you're in a coaching relationship, that's okay. They are completely in charge. They can say no to whatever they want. And you, as the expert, are going to let them know that you don't think they're going to be able to get their outcome if they don't do this thing. But maybe we can do this other thing over here. Maybe it'll take longer. Maybe you're looking at more of a 6-month healing period than 3 months. You give them your expert advice, and then you walk away, because it's not your work. It's their work. You already did your job.
Right.
Yeah. So I know it's so much easier said than done, but you can ask yourself and do that self-inquiry after sessions. Yeah, I'm really happy with what I said, and and just being able to build those communication skills will really help with that.
Right. The other thing that came out, like I had a client meeting yesterday, and I think I'm just too open to energetic exchange, and she had bad news and mold and Lyme and EBV and all kinds of things. And I was so drained at the end of the session that I couldn't do the follow-up work, and I had to kind of realize, hey, wait a minute, this isn't me. And so that's one of my goals, is to work on that. So today, last night, I started thinking, okay, it's not me. I did some clearing exercises. And then this morning I was able to do the follow-up work and feel satisfied with what I had put out and all of that. So that's, that's another thing that came up that might be common for other people as well.
Yeah, it is very common that like feeling like you just got put through the dryer
Yeah, I
after a
was done.
session.
I
Yeah.
was done, and I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
lie.
And so
And I was
part of
like,
that,
but I still have to, I have to send her all the stuff still, and I'm done. So, but I figured it out, I guess. So,
yeah, and I'm going to say something and it's going to sound a little bit harsh,
Mhm.
but it's really on something important. If you want to build a sustainable practice
Yeah.
and be of service to more people versus a couple people who, you know, kind of like kvetch and granted, and this is said with such respect, is that you don't want to be fun to complain to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And that's a
Yeah.
little bit ouchy
Yeah.
and it was ouchy to me when I was taught that and learned that, but it changed everything for me. And I was
Right.
really able to,
Yeah.
it's like cut the strings for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't, part of my job, I don't have to be a sounding board for every single person. I'm here to
Right.
help them get the intake, coach them. Okay, done at the hour, and that's it. And I can be absolutely somebody who has Lyme and mold and is really truly suffering absolutely deserves sympathy 100%. But
Yeah.
then there's like another level, and to like know when that goes to like the next level, and it's like, well, okay, this is not productive anymore.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, we didn't get to finish the whole way, but it was really cool not even knowing this person's health history.
Yeah.
Or what's going on.
Yeah.
And being able to get a good interview out of it, and getting some goals for this person within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And different.
If you guys didn't finish, totally different. And if you didn't finish up, I encourage you to meet up again and finish it, and make sure that you both have the experience on both sides. Steve, how was your experience with Lori? Thank you, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I found out, and actually didn't find out. I know this is one of my issues. Anyway, I want to fix everything. You know, I'm a guy. I want to fix things. No, but I'm also since I have a PhD in chemistry and have been a chemistry professor, I want to. You know, it's so easy for me to get into the professor role.
Yeah.
And I've got to watch that. That's one of the things I've got to watch.
Yeah.
I've really got to watch. And
yeah. Did anyone feel like they weren't doing anything? Like, I'm just asking these questions. Like, it can't be this easy. Did anyone have that experience? Like, I'm not doing anything hard or offering anything special at all. I'm just curious. Maybe not.
It felt easy, but it felt good.
Yeah, it felt good. Okay, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was offering, I offered a couple suggestions, but it was one of those, as part of the interview, part of the discussion, it came to the point where it's, oh, can I offer a suggestion that I've done type of thing?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And like I had said, go to my web. If you haven't been to the website and gotten the free structure, it's called like a coaching guide. It has the structure inside of it, and you can see where that clinical part fits. And I'm not saying you don't talk about clinical stuff at other times, because it's not meant to be rigid, but it'll help you understand that this is meant to wrap around your clinical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's wrap this up, because this has been over 2 hours now. Any last comments or questions or anything?
It's been good.
Good. Thank you. So, what were your biggest takeaways?
Practice.
Practice. Yeah. So I'm going to keep the Facebook group open, so you guys can reach out to each other and practice, or invite other NTPs or NTCs to practice with you or coach them, because the more practice you get, the easier it'll be, the bigger results that you'll experience. So practice on both ends. Yeah, for a couple weeks I'll leave it open, or maybe reach out to people who weren't able to be on live, so that you can get more practice and then they can experience too. So thank you everyone so much for being a part of this. And I look forward to doing more things like this in the future. And let me know if I can support you in any way. Balance and Shine enrollment is open right now. And I do have $100 coupon off. If anyone is interested, I will post it in the group. If you aren't familiar with are you guys familiar with the program? The full, no?
Not really.
Okay. So it's a coaching method program. This is like the beginning of some of the things that I teach, as well as rapport, and working through obstacles and accountability and follow through and all of those things. And then I have you've got a program basically that helps you facilitate and coach your clients. So it's there's handouts that basically lead you through all of this: mental clutter, self-sabotage. You get handouts on stress relief and circadian rhythm. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. So, and it's all tied into this coaching method. So you can read more about it on the website. And if I can answer any questions for you, please reach out to me at Nanci@balance-shine.com. And that's it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys
Thank you.
so much. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.